Good morning, my stamping friends. Christine Ludwig here from Christine Stamping Spot. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining in on my live this Friday morning. We have a beautiful sunny day going on here. Different than yesterday. We had a really cool, it almost felt like fall yesterday, I have to say. I think we only got to about 15 Celsius, which I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but for August, that is pretty chilly. And I know this morning there was dew on all the car windshields and the grass, and yeah, it just really felt like fall yesterday. So just kind of reinforced how I'm not quite ready to get there yet. So I hope you guys are having better weather wherever you are. And yeah, pop in and say hi in the comments. I'd love to see who's watching and say hello. And leave me a comment too if you can hear me. I know last week we had a few issues with the volume. Oh my gosh, every time I do this it's different. But I think I have my ducks in a row, so unless something goes awry as we go along, we shall see. So today we are going to take a look at a product that was released, I believe it's in this current May to August catalog. It's the Impressions plate, which you can use with certain dies they die cut, but they are also called Impressions dies. So you can use this plate with those to give the images a little bit of a different look. And we're going to do a Christmas card. So speaking of fall, I'm kind of jumping right into Christmas here. So I'm going to flip my camera around and tell you what I'm talking about. Okay, so close your eyes for 1 sec. And we shall see if we have you here. Can you all see me there? I'm just going to lower this just a tad, so you have a little better look at what we're going to do. Okay, so first of all, I am going to be using this pretty Poinsettia bundle. Now, I was kind of on the fence about this. I thought, oh my gosh, that's really, really beautiful. But I do have a couple of Poinsettia stamps and bundles. So I thought, do I, don't I? But then I realized after seeing different samples and things that it does work with our Impressions plate. So I thought, oh my gosh, I just have to give that a go. So this is the stamp set here. So it has some really fun images, and you can also stamp the poinsettias. But these are the dies where you can create your own poinsettia out of the dies. And this is what they look like. Pretty fabulous. Hey, look at how detailed these are. All right, and then you have one here that will cut out your stamped image. You've got some little centers and some other leaves, and this large leaf here. Okay, so let me show you what this impression plate looks like. So it is this. Now it comes packaged like this, in this package, Impressions plate, and there's a diagram here of how you would layer your layers when you want to use it. So I will show you that because we're going to go through the process of die cutting and then using this Impressions plate as well. So not really sure why they call it a plate, because it is quite rubbery, right? It's not as thin as our silicone mat, which is quite thin, but it feels almost similar silicone material. I'm not really sure what this is made out of, but it is thicker, okay? So this is what this Impressions plate looks like, okay? So if you are looking for it, you can find it in this May to August catalog, and it will probably, I'm guessing, be in the new September to December that is coming out next month. And you can always find it on the website as well. So it is right down here, Impressions plate. It's on page 57. So if you're looking for the number, it's a $15 purchase. 167767 is the number. And you're thinking, well, how will I know what dies to use it with? I kind of looked up here. Okay, oh, it's also here. Is it? Yes, it's also right here on page 74. If you're looking, it says, oh, it is silicone. One silicone mat, 6 by 8.5. Okay, and used with impressions dies. So, when you're thinking, well, how will I know if they're impressions dies? When they launched this, they had 2 impressions die sets, okay? And it says here, phrases and frames, impressions. So that's how you'll know this can be used with your impressions plate. There's also this one, Opulent Oasis Impressions. So you'll know this also works with the impressions plate, okay? So hopefully that's clear, but always look on the website as well, and that will give you sometimes some more information, or just reach out. All right, so what is our card going to look like today? It is going to be a Christmas card, and it's going to be this one. All right. Oh, good morning, Kathleen, from Smoky Revelstoke in British Columbia. Oh my gosh, yes, I was thinking about you guys, wondering how the smoke is. It seems like most of that beautiful province is on fire right now, which is very, very sad. And it just seems to be getting bigger sometimes. So, wear a mask if that will help you. Is it really hot? I wonder if it's hot as well. Oh my. Yeah, it's been such an uphill battle with these fires, hasn't it, this summer? I know Ontario and Quebec had a lot to start. And I know the interior of BC is very dry at the best of times, almost desert-like in some areas. And so any sort of spark, I'm sure it would just flame right up and keep going. So praying for rain for BC. We've been, knock on wood, really fortunate with forest fires in our province in Alberta this year. I think because we had a late spring to start with, and a good amount of snowfall. And then we, of course, like you've been hearing in past weeks from me, we have had so much rain. Our ground is so saturated here that any more rain, it just is not absorbing it. So, and thankfully we haven't had a ton of smoke come our way, but with the volume of these fires, it would not surprise me if it starts blowing our direction pretty soon. So come home safe, and good luck there. Oh my gosh, that is not fun. All right, so back to our project. This is what we are going to make. All right, so this uses the Pretty Poinsettia dies, and I've used the stamp set here in the greeting. So can you see this impression here? And I did it on the leaves as well, out of the gold foil. So the colors in here are very vanilla for the base, the poinsettia, and the greeting. This background is cherry cobbler, and then I've used the gold foil for the leaves in the center, and this matte on the greeting here. Okay, so just to show you the difference, I don't know if you can see it, but this is when you cut the poinsettia out just with the die. Okay, so it's detailed. You can see the veins here in the petals, right? But when you then put it through the impressions, look at the difference. See the difference in that? It kind of almost raises certain parts of that petal image, like they're kind of puffed up almost, right? And it gives it such a beautiful dimension, right? I think that's just amazing. Okay, so let's get started, and I'll show you how we're going to make this today. So, as mentioned, we are going to start with a piece of Very Vanilla, and 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, our usual card base. And I mean, there are so many colors of poinsettias these days, right? Like you could do this out of, well, I did it the vanilla. You could do it like strictly white. They have, of course, the reds and the different shades of reds, and even the pinks, you know, those would be really pretty too. All right, so then I did go ahead and emboss this with the Forever Plaid embossing folder, which is this large one, right? A really big embossing folder, which is awesome. And I did that out of the cherry cobbler. So this is 5 1/4 by 4. So let's put that on as our layer. And then we will get to doing our poinsettia. All right. Okay, and what you could do is, I mean, you could do a whole bunch of the petals cut out and then just set them aside and assemble them when you're ready, or assemble them and then put them on. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. Now, the first thing we have to do, let me bring my dies back here. Okay, so we are going to use, now for the poinsettia, they actually have 4 different sets of petals, 4 different sizes, but I'm only going to use 3. I found 4. I mean, you can definitely do it. I just found for me, it was a little bit much to have that extra layer. And then you would use this dye for the leaves, but I pre-did that one, so we won't have to worry about that. But on the sample, I do just have the 3 layers here, okay? Oh, Kathleen, the smoke is supposed to roll out tomorrow and be clear for Sunday and Monday. Oh. Okay, so there is hope that it might move out, but it'll probably come our way, right? Okay, so the first thing we have to do is die cut these. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. And I hope you can see this. Not sure if you can. Hopefully you can. Okay, so for die cutting, we're going to do our usual plates, right? So we have number 1, number 2, and we're going to have a cutting pad, number 3. And then we're going to put our paper on. So I'm going to run all of these through at the same time. Okay, so we're going to put them face down with a cut edge down on the paper. So we'll just do these 3 largest ones here, okay? And then our other cutting plate will go on top. And then we're going to run this through. Okay, so this is step number 1. Excuse my big hand there. Okay, so let's grab that. Okay, so now we have them cut out. All right, so I'm going to leave them in the die because we're going to have to run them through again. Okay, so this time we're going to run them through with that impressions plate. So for this, our sandwich is a little bit different. I'm just going to raise this up a little bit so you don't see the big hand there. Okay. So for our sandwich, this time we need plate 1 and plate 2. We do not need our cutting pads, so we'll put those away. And then what we're going to do is we're going to leave the image that we just die cut in the die, and we're going to reverse it so the cut side is up. Okay, and we're going to put it straight on this plate number 2. Okay, so let's do that. Mine a little bit at the top. Spread these around. For some reason, I have an indent in here. I don't know why that is. Okay, so next step is your silicone mat. So you're going to put that on top of those dies, and then your emboss plate. Okay, so this is the sandwich. Now we're going to roll this through, and what's going to happen is the silicone impressions plate might stretch a bit, but you don't have to worry about that. That's just normal. It's because it's from the silicone. And it just is going to stretch out a teeny bit. And let's see what we have. Okay, so I'm going to put you down again just a little bit. Okay, hope you can see that. Okay, so let's take off our emboss plate and our silicone mat and our dies. And here you go. You see those impressions that made right there? Is that just unbelievable? So compare, this is the same petal that I showed earlier. So compare that. This is just from cutting out from the die itself. This is cutting out with the die and the impressions plate. So you can see how parts of these petals have sort of puffed up just to give it that little bit of dimension. Is that not just so cool? Can you see that? Oh, have any of you guys tried this? Let me know if you have used this impression plate and what you've used it with. We don't have a ton of impression dies at the moment, but we do have a new catalog coming, so maybe there will be a few more, but this poinsettia is fantastic. Okay, so I have a couple pieces here that I cut out, and we're going to put this poinsettia together. So these are going to be my centers, very tiny. Okay, so what I want to do first is maybe take my bone folder and just gently, you can probably use your finger too. I just want to curl the edges of these petals. Okay, so just gently. You don't want to rip it off because it's very fragile right there. And I mean, I suppose you can probably cover it up. We can always find a clever way to cover up our mistakes, and then nobody knows that it was a mistake. It's always the way it's supposed to be. Oh, we can be very clever if we need to be, right? Okay, and then let's do this little one. And then there would still be, if you use that fourth die, it would be even smaller on top of there. Okay, so we're going to bring out our liquid glue. And we're just going to start with the largest, okay? And you're going to put a little bit of glue here on the ends. Oops, that's a little bit more than a little bit. And then you're going to take your second one, and you're just going to offset it, okay? And then lay it down on that center right there. I'm just going to push that with my take your pick, just to adhere it. Okay, like so. And then we'll put another little bit of glue here on the center of this one. Oh, another little bubble there. And then we'll put our smallest one. And again, we want to just offset this. Try to fill in some of these little gaps if you can. And we'll just put that one right there. Just give that a little press. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Trying to find the center here. Okay, I think that'll be pretty good. Okay, so there is your poinsettia. Oh, okay, so now let's put these two little teeny weeny centers in. It's these ones. So you get two of them in the dies. And one is a little bit larger than the other. Okay, so let's put another little bit of glue here. And then we're going to put I should get my tweezers actually. This is really small. could see these getting lost on your table or falling on your floor. Okay, so let's just press that down for a second. Okay, and then we'll put another little bit of glue in here for this last little circle. Or not a circle, or center. And if you can offset it, great. It is really small. I mean, if you have a different center, you could always just use, you know, you could use one of our rhinestone jewels, you know, just as your center, or some sort of another embellishment, maybe a gold dot or something like that. A gold self-adhesive dot would also work. Okay, there's our poinsettia. Look at that. Isn't that just so pretty? So delicate and pretty. Okay, so let me bring back our base. Now, make sure this is going the right direction. So we're going to add our leaves. So when I cut out just one of the leaves, this is how large those dies are. That die is, there's just the one. But I cut this out of the gold foil, and you can see again, it went through the impressions plate as well, and it has all these little sort of puffy parts there. So if you wanted, you could, you know, just kind of bend these on the center line a little bit if you wanted a little bit of a different texture to your leaves. Now what I'm going to do, because this is so large, I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to use half of it at the top and half at the bottom, towards the bottom. Because I find, unless you wanted to use the whole one, I mean, you could, that would be lovely too. You know, you could just have one long spray of your leaves, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to cut it 3 and 3. So I'm going to cut it right down here, right at the base of this leaf right here, and just give it a snip. And then these are going to get tucked underneath, okay? So for my greeting, before I put this on, I just want to get my placement right. So what I did was I used a piece of Very Vanilla, and I embossed this greeting from the stamp set, Christmas Joy. It's also 'Tis the Season, Merry and Bright, Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and Bright Christmas Wishes. They're all really great greetings. So I stamped it with the Versamark, embossed with the gold embossing powder. Now again, if you have the new foiling system, spoiler alert, there are some new Christmas products coming out in September, I believe. And so there may be some Christmas greetings somewhere that you could just hot foil this instead if you didn't want to use the traditional embossing. But I know this embossing is always a wow factor in our classes, right? So I thought, no, I don't have a Christmas greeting out of the foil at this point, so I just decided to emboss that myself. And then I punched it out with, I thought, well, what can I punch that out with? And I found this Modern Label punch. Now this is actually just retired as of July 3rd this year. It was around since the 2023 September to December mini. But this is the punch that I used to punch out this. And then I used it again to punch out another piece of gold foil. So to get this little gnat here, I'm going to cut this in half. I'm just going to eyeball it. If you want to use a paper trimmer, you can. And then I'm going to mat this greeting on top. Okay, so I'm going to put some adhesive on each end. And then I'm just going to line this up so it leaves a little bit of that gold on one side and a little bit on the other side, trying to match up, you know, so one isn't necessarily smaller than the other. I think that's pretty close. Okay. And that will be our greeting. So for placement, I think I want this like I did here. Now I don't really want this at the right. I just prefer it coming in from the left for some reason. Now I could put this here, but I want the eye just to keep going. So I think I will put, let me just see placement wise. If I put my leaves here, my poinsettia there, and then these leaves, I can probably squeeze under there, right? Or I could move this and put it here. Ooh, I don't mind that either, actually. But I want it in the center. The center works too. Why don't we switch it up? Let's do that, my friends. Okay, so I'm going to bring out some dimensionals to put down this poinsettia. I'm going to put about, well, 2 for sure. Do I need 3? No, let's just do 2. Because you have to somehow get your leaves under there without bumping into your dimensionals. Okay. Good morning, Marlene. Good morning, Janet. A bit late, but that's okay. You're here. How are you, everybody? Oh, Kathleen, you're leaving. Okay. Good luck at your tournament. All right, so let us put our poinsettia. Let me see, where was I going to put these leaves? I was going to put these about here. So let's put our poinsettia maybe about here. So this will be a little bit different than our sample, but that's okay. Okay, so we still have a little bit of that texture and the curve of the petals there. So I'm just going to put some glue on these leaves, just because this is an embossing folder. And sometimes I find our adhesive, our Stamp and Seal, sometimes when it's just right on the embossed, embossed layer, sometimes it can come off after a while. Oh my gosh, I'm making a mess. This is why I don't use a lot of glue. Okay, well, hopefully that will dry. I can get it off later. It's a little bit of a mess there. Okay. All right. So that one, and then we will put on our other one. And we'll put that down the other side. And we'll see what the difference is. So let's put this down here. I'll just sort of sneak that in. Okay. So far, so good. I think. Now these, I don't know if you can go back and sort of fold them up again if you wanted, but it's okay like that too if they're flat. All right, and then our greeting, let's put it here. We'll have part of that leaf on top. I'm not going to put it in the center. Will I put it in the center? What do you vote for? Center, left, or right? I think maybe kind of between left and center for me. I don't know. I don't want to cover up that greeting too much. Can I finagle this leaf a little bit? Maybe. Okay, let's do it maybe. Oh my gosh. I think I have third world problems here. Okay. Okay, I think we're just going to stick it under there. Okay, I'm just going to put this on. This one I will just put on with regular adhesive. I don't want to put it up with dimensionals because I want that poinsettia to be kind of our focal point. So I'm just going to put this here. I could use glue as well, I guess. And there is our pretty poinsettia card. What do you think of those, guys? I'm not going to add any other bling because I find there's enough for me. I mean, you're welcome to do it if you wanted to add a few little, you know, embellishments around there. But for me, with the gold, I think that gives it enough bling for me. What do you guys think? Whatever you like. I just like kind of the simplicity of it, and I love that poinsettia being kind of the focal point of the card right there. Okay, so that is our new impressions plate. So if you are interested in any of these, you know, dies that use that, this is the effect that you're going to get. And I think it's just amazing. I think it's just really, really pretty, and I don't know, I just love it. Okay, I'm gonna flip my camera out. Oh, I did it today. There we go. So our impressions plate. In case you weren't sure, how do I sandwich it? How do I not? Bling not necessary. Yeah, Janet, I think there's enough with the gold going on. If I were to have done maybe green leaves or something like that, then maybe I would have. But I just like the gold and the vanilla together. It's one of my favorite combinations. I know some people, they prefer white over vanilla. I guess that's the question. What's your preference, white over vanilla when it comes to something like this? I just think it's a little bit of a softer white, quote unquote. And it looks nice with the gold. I really like that combination. So, okay, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that and were able to see how that impressions plate works. Sometimes it's a learning curve figuring out that sandwich to go through the machine because you don't want it too tight and then you don't want it too loose, and it's kind of like the Three Bears. It's too hard, it's too soft, it's just right. Okay, let's think of that with with our sandwiches on our die cutting machine. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that project, and have a wonderful weekend, everybody. It is Friday. It is sunny today. I do not know the forecast for the weekend. Sometimes I don't want to know because of what we've been having, and I just hope these crazy mosquitoes will die down. Oh my gosh, they have just been insane this summer. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in, and even if you're watching the replay, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.